Hey guys, this is SF and welcome to Random Talk Sundays. This week I'll be farming Giga Mantis. He's in the library, so I got it says 3 here, but it's gonna reset. It resets at 12, and the library is off your time zone, but the server is in the JP time zone, so it gets a little awkward. But once I finish one run, then it will reset back to normal. And my team is basically like this. So max luck is Destroyer. Because I don't really use him, but he's a Flight No Gravity Barrier monster. Noma for damage, and he does have Genius S+, and then Pandora for more damage, and then Agnoma X for more damage. But it is ×4 experience during this time. It's going to be away. This is the last day. It's on a Friday. I'm filming on a Friday, so this is the last day. And it is 40 stamina, so 5 runs is equal to 200 stamina instead of 250, which is always nice. And of course the experience is also great as well. But why I'm farming Gigamantis is basically for Penglai, the water colossal, and it's going to be his ascended version. So hopefully I'll get it done the next time she comes. Okay, for Penglai, I have Rob Willie, the Halloween Visceron, for like a pierced no damage wall monster, but he's not as great as Ascended Gigamantis, so I want to change. And I haven't maxed out Gigamantis, so why not? But I don't know which kind of news should I start off. I guess I'll start with the JP. Not much, except for the new series. And it is the Baby Coil, Team Baby Coil. So basically the monsters are descendants of existing monsters, and it's going to be the Monster Striker series and Monster 5, I think, or something. I don't really remember the NA event name, but basically Red Swagger, like Rose Monster Striker, Clover Monster Striker, Aura Monster Striker, like those people, and is their descendants. So it's kind of switched this time around, kind of. While the Hatcher monsters, there's a new guy called Anthony D. He's probably like the team leader of the whole thing. And then you have Wood monster is Dr. Swordgaze, a descendant. And then who's the Light is going to be Deathcoil's descendant, and those 3 are the Hatcher monsters. And then the farmables are from the Hatcher monster, like the descendants are the Hatcher monsters from the previous Monster 5 series. So Fire one is the Dark Monster Striker, Cal Capitone or something, Caputine or something like that, and he's an extreme. He's going to be the 5-star monster, 5-star rarity monster at dungeon or whatever. And then Water is Marine Monster Striker. She looks like Butterfly because, and then her Monster Striker name is Monster Strike Butterfly, is because the original, Marine Monster Striker and Queen Butterfly, the original Queen Butterfly, are sisters in Monster Strike lore. So that's why it has both, the Monster Striker name from Marine Monster Striker, and it looks like Queen Butterfly. It has like both added into one. And then the Wood one is Red Swaggers or Clover Monster Striker's descendant. And then the Dark one is the Savage, so it's not like the Wood one is the Insidious monster, and then the Dark one is going to be Aurora Monster Strikers descendants, and they're twins. I think it's Mimi and Rolo. So I don't even know I don't know what their Monster Striker element is, because that hasn't been out yet. But their human names are out, but they're from the official website. But the Monster Striker code name is not out yet for those guys. They showed in the Monster Strike news the extremes and stuff, so they have like Farfly, and then Pendulum for the green, and then Butterfly for the water. So hopefully people are hoping that the green Insidious will be super good for Penglai as a max slug monster. Might be, who knows, but we will see. I don't mind farming because even though I'm farming Gigamantis for Penglai, I don't really mind farming it because I usually don't have that much. I usually don't. I should have strike shot, but I usually don't use my stamina outside of like farming for new events. So spend some time farming these library stuff is always good. And one run is 5 minutes, so I'm on track to go all five for today. But I can't really talk much about the new series just because I don't know their stats yet. And 4 drops, thank you very much. And S clear for the medals. So, but so far, like Dr. Sorge, the green hatcher, is really good for Penglai as well. She has a pure snow damage wall monster and an Ethereum Slayer XL. Most people think the Ethereum XL is for the obstructors, but actually, oops, wrong dungeon. But the skillas in that stage, the ones like this dude, it's in Penglai's dungeon, and he is also an Ethereum. So basically, she's for that specific part of the dungeon because her strike shot is not that crazy good for the boss because it's the same as Lancelot X, or not Lancelot X, the same as normal Lancelot, where speeds up, power up, and well, she doesn't become a pierce or bounce monster, but she does no blocks, and technically you kind of want the blocks for that part because you want to get in between the 2 blocks and pierce through that way to get as much damage as you can. And even though there are no blocks, even though no block is good, and when you use your strike shot, you cannot get that pinch from the switch panels. So that's useless in terms of clearing off the obstructor and awkward worm in that stage. So it's mainly the 8 turns is basically a free shot at the skillas in the map. But I think if I remember correctly, it's only on the 2nd stage. And I think only, well actually there's some in the mini boss stage. There's one, I think some in one mini boss stage, but I don't think there's any in the main boss stage. I don't remember. I don't think there is. So so in terms of if you're comparing like top tier Penglai monsters, she's in the middle. I wouldn't say she's like super OP, you really need her. But of course if you cannot clear off those skillas, then it's nice to have her just because they are the guys that make the monsters, make the other enemies invisible. So clearing them is pretty much a top priority. And so that you'll be, so basically it'll get you off on a good foot in the quest, but she is not really needed if you're fine with just clearing out the skills that way. If you're clearing out the skills normally. And like I said, like skills don't appear on every single map, only appears on some maps of the dungeon, so she's not like super 100% OP needed. I would think Hansel and Gretel will be a lot better just because they deal more damage to the boss. And of course Mjolnir is the OP monster in that dungeon. But we will see. I think Meteor Destruction is not that great in that dungeon because Meteor Destruction is not going to do much. The defense up is not bad. That's the sub bump combo, but sub bump defense up is not that crazy strong. and main defense up is like 20 to 25%, if I remember correctly. Sub is like 4%, 4 or 5%. It does mitigate damage, but it's not as crazy as the main sub bump main bump combo. So I wouldn't. I don't think the bump combos are that needed. But maybe the evolution might be something different or something better for Penglai. But we will see. Like I said, data's not in, so you have to wait. Probably next week on Monday. Or maybe when this video comes out, because it starts on Tuesday, and Tuesday Japan time, and they'll probably push the data on Monday Japan time, which is basically Sunday night in the US or Canada, depending on where you are. So maybe you'll see then. Who knows? But that's pretty much for JP in general sense. There are a lot of, I guess, NA news. Not pretty much officially announced, but there has been, you know, snippets of stuff. So version 8.8, 8.0. I did post it on a few sites, Facebook, Reddit, and there's a new Discord server that I'm part of, so you guys can check that. I'll leave the link from now on. But version 8.0 Taiwan version has released part 1 of it. Yeah, there are 3 parts. There are 3 parts of it. Part 1 included what everybody wanted, was the original JP UI, the current one that's on right now. It has the new normals that features Century Dragon. I'm pretty sure they're gonna the Taiwan version didn't get our trials, so I don't think they did. I'm not that 100% sure, but Century Dragon probably not that crazy good in our version, just because it's so easy to get Leah and max luck. But I guess like for super beginners, that it's always good, because Century Dragon is, you can get off the second tier, and that is really easy. You just beat the second tier of dungeons, and then boom, there is your Century Dragon at max luck. And it's not that bad. It's mainly used for like daily dungeons and stuff like that. If you don't have a good max luck monster, it will suffice, because you know, farming catalyst. I wouldn't suggest farming dragon gems unless it's dark, but you know, because you'll probably want like other elements to make stuff make runs faster. At 3 drops, thank you. And I got a sad face. Probably I used too many strike shots, but and then next was library. So the thing that I'm running right now, where you get a list of monsters, list of dungeons, and then you can play them 24/7, but you only get 5 per day, and it resets every midnight. So before the start of the video, I was at 3, and now I'm at 3 after I played 2 quests. Like I said, it resets. Time difference is really crazy, especially for the library. I did tell to Pete that it's like this, but you know, nothing has happened. There hasn't been an update since the last time I told them about it, so maybe they might fix it, but who knows. But library stocking, you can stock quests. So basically, there's a quest right out right now. Before I misclicked Vishnu, but if you want to play Vishnu but you don't have time right now, then you just stock it, and then you can play for later. When it was first released, it was a 24-hour limit, and then after the recent update, it went to 2 days, so 48 hours. I didn't read all the details in the Taiwan version, so it most likely be the 24-hour limit. It might not be 48 hours. So there's that. And then the separate boxes for Morlings. Things you do have to worry about for that is when you get the update. There is a high chance you might not be able to have the box right away. Even for JP, because it overloads servers, because you're basically swapping hundreds of monsters at a time, or like, well, it's not probably not 100 monsters depending on your box, but it does put a load on the server. So because you're switching, you're basically transferring monsters and stuff like that, and you have to connect to the server, and it's going to be a big load on the server. So might take a couple of days for you to get, a couple of days or a couple of weeks for that matter. Like for me, it took me about a week for it to happen. I didn't get like right on day one, so just something that to keep in mind when that happens. But of course, like the mornings are very good, and mornings you'll keep the special mornings, so, or the special like stuff in your fuse and sell section. So the pumpkins, the 2nd anniversary max Ps, the Halloween XPs, like those types, the goldfishes, dragon gems will be in your main box. Like those will be put in your main box. There won't be a separate one for them. So it does take away a lot, but it doesn't take away everything from your fuse and sell section. But even so, it does free up a lot of space. It freed up a lot of space for me. Before, I had like 100 box buffer for most of it. Now I have like 1,000. That's the big difference for me. I usually have 100 buffer for whenever I farm and stuff like that. But once that morning box came, I have 1,000 buffer. So it's good on that max space. And I think that's pretty much it for part 1. Some people are wondering, Olive, there was Olive in the screen cap for that version for the Taiwanese patch notes, and wondering if medals are coming. I'm pretty sure medals are going to come, and pretty much the same as, you know, what JP does. And if people are wondering of how to farm medals or get Olive and stuff like that, there is a video there. It's kind of outdated in terms of where to farm, but it's basically the same in terms of function. Beat a dungeon, get S rank, and you get medals. And every new series there is a ×5 multiplier, and that's where I get all my medals from. Or you can roll for them, you know, roll. Every 10 shot gives you 5 magic stones, which equals to 30k, which is not bad. And how come I'm so low on health? Okay, got the heart. So, and other things that were in JP, I guess max out bonuses are people who are wondering. Badge of honor for farmables have not been implemented in either Taiwan or NA. So maybe that's in the part 2 or part 3, depending, you know, how close are they going to the JP version. Because it is easier to develop that way, because before it was they have to develop for JP and then they have to develop for Taiwan and NA separately, and now that they're pretty much all the same in terms of functionality and binary. From what I've heard, the binary is going to be the same. So all the coding, like the binary codes, are going to be pretty much the same. It's just that we have different content, and then we have some stuff that JP doesn't have in terms of, you know, local co-op chests, affinity, the affinity bonus. I think that's not really code, but like the affinity listing schedule thing are probably going to be the same for NA and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different, but it's basically the same code for the most part, and 3 drops again, and 11 seconds. So, you know, getting A is only 200 points. or 200 medals. If you co-op, then that's another 1.4. I think it's a 1. No, I think it's 1.5 or something like that. I usually don't co-op much, so that's why I don't really remember. But if people are wondering how to, I did max luck olive, and people think that I hack or, you know, pay a lot of money for it, but technically I don't. And I just want to get a Robin Hood here because I don't have Ogden X friends. And the only main difference between what I did when I was farming for olive or getting olive and all my other friends in JP is that my friends in JP use those luck chests. But they cost 3,000 medals each, and basically you get 2 extra chests when you win. And basically, you know, that's like an extra max luck monster. So most people use it when they're farming for impossibles or colossals, because usually they don't bring max luck, or sometimes when it's a new dungeon it's too hard and they want to get some footing and get used to the dungeon before they start bringing in farmables and stuff like that. So they use luck chests for the drops, for the max luck and stuff like that. And I never did that, not even once. But all my friends did that for when they play impossibles or colossals and stuff like that, or even when they're farming regularly for like extremes. So that's my advice. If you really want max luck olive, then of course farm all the event monsters, all the extremes when it's a new series. You don't have to farm outside of those, and like even I didn't farm outside of those that often. When I didn't even farm like the extremes and stuff like that for the most part. So that's one thing. You don't have to. All you gotta do is just max luck once. You don't have to max luck like 2 or 3 times. Like once on every single event, new event monster, new extreme. You don't have to worry. You don't get medals from impossible, so you don't have to worry about that. And that's basically it. And it took me, I think, 6 months, 6 or 7 months. And here I am now. So it started in August or something like that, July or August, and I finished that last month. And all of it's going away in February in JP, so probably there's going to be a new one after that. So, and then the whole process starts all over again and stuff like that. Who's going to be the new one? Who knows? Who knows? It might be a 3DS monster. It could be something else. We will never know. But right now I'm using medals to farm for, you know, for new, for impossibles or something like that, because I don't need it for olive anymore. And there is a limit for the number of medals you can hold. So, and if you hit that limit, then you won't get any more medals, and you have to use it or even or stock it on items. So that's why I use it on the chest item now instead of before, because I'm just hitting that limit very frequently when I farm for new stuff. And right now it's like 2 extremes, 1 Insidious, which is a lot different from what NA is used to, or before JP before, when it's only 2 extremes. So it's a little bit different, and especially with the 5-star rarity dungeon. Ooh, nice, and the critical 2.5 million in your face. And I do get sidetracked, bear with me. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, with the 5-star rarity dungeons, one of the multipliers is the rarity of the monsters you bring. So once you're forced into bringing 5-star or lower monsters, then you just get more medals in general. So that's how I stock up those medals as well. And I don't think it's like really stamina efficient, because when you're farming it outside. Well, I guess like if you do Leah, I don't know if Leah is going to be part of the medal farming. I'm not even sure if the Murasame series is. I can check like in this right after this run. Check if they have clear times. If they do, then they get medals. It's not the same with the ×5 multiplier, and there's no events in JP where it says like, hey, you get ×5 multiplier for this specific series that is like old series. There's no campaign for that, so most likely, well, I think Murasame did get it, but that was off a survey. That was like a special occasion. And I'm just gonna go random with Robin Hood strike shot. And there we go. But I can check. Let's check Murasame and see if there's an S clear. If there isn't, then they don't get medals. If there is, then you get medals off of it. And if it's the same for Leah, then, you know, 1 stamina. And of course, it takes time. The time is kind of the drag, in my opinion. It's not very much the stamina for most people, but the time that it takes to, you know, get 400 points is kind of meh. Of course, if you have nothing else to do, like what I am right now, then of course that is fine. But if you want to, but you don't really have to consistently farm like crazy at like 24/7 and stuff like that to get it. And there is time for Murasame and Muramasa, so I'm pretty sure Leah will get that time if they have 8.0. And this is going to be the last one for Gigamantis, and this is going to be the last one for the video. Okay. Whew. But yeah, in terms of videos, like, I am working on new stuff. As you see, Tower Tuesdays, not just like in the video department, but in like other Monster Truck related stuff, and hopefully I get to show you sometime in the near future. I am busy working on that for a couple of days, and hopefully I'll finish by the end of the month. By the end of the month, it's a pretty long project, but I'm pretty sure people will like it for the most part. And but that's pretty much it for NA news. I guess next series is, well, I guess Yoshimune is coming back up very soon, and she is 24/7 as well, if I remember correctly from the schedule. So that's a good max luck. Well, not really strong. I don't really use her that much. I don't really use her version, use her in JP that much. But if you need a fire no damage wall monster, then why not? There's not much out there right now, if I remember, in terms of NA monsters out right now. Well, I guess Fenrir X and Hydra. If you don't, if you have them, then you're probably not going to be using Yoshimune, because they're pretty much one and the same. And I guess the strike shot's better, and there's a Slayer for Yoshimune, but you know, you get more versatility from Fenrir, and it's not like the Slayer. It's not like the Slayer and the strike shot makes a huge difference. Like, there's not many Demon Slayer, Demon Wood monsters out there in the first place. Like, even like Tengu is Demon Mancer, I think, if I remember correctly. So there's no point of bringing Yoshimune into that dungeon. I guess Jiraiya? No, actually Jiraiya doesn't even have damage rolls either. So yeah. No real monsters no real dungeons to use Yoshimune in. So of course, you know, 24/7. So if you want to stack up those max lucks, then by all means go for it. It's not going to be as easy as Daisy, because her dungeon is 100 times worse than Daisy, and 100 times is an exaggeration, because in this day and age, Yoshimune is not going to be that hard, but it's definitely harder than Daisy. All you gotta do is just stack Ralph and Ralph, Susano, and those types, and you're pretty much gonna wreck that dungeon. Even though there is gravity barriers there, you just stack damage, and basically you're pretty much free to get that. So if you need that, then go for it. And oh yeah, I also put up the year-end pool, I think this week, as last week as well. So pretty much what I expected, like I said in a previous video. And you know, people want the JPUI, you're gonna get it, so hooray. Actually, I knew it. I knew it before I did the forum and stuff like that, the survey. But you know, I might as well put it there just to see how people really felt like. And best monster, Lucy, pretty much straightforward. Best fireball is Chainbound Jag, for obvious reasons. And then hardest dungeon was, what was it? I forgot. I think it was Avalon. It was either Avalon, or Izanami's Zero. Those two are relatively hard, especially Avalon, because most people didn't. Not everybody got Yamato Takeru, and even though they got First Empress and Lilith, it's still really hard. Like, it's still hard in JP today, just because you really have to know how to pinch, and if you don't know how to pinch, then you're pretty much screwed. Okay, and then 2 more shots. Probably gonna finish off with Robin Hood, and let's finish it off with a nice shot right at the weak spot. And I did hit the weak spot. All the hype for nothing. Okay. Let's just strike shot. I pretty much missed S clear, I think. Oh my god, that dude. But anyways, let's see the drops. I'm still pretty far away, but if I play every day, get that, use those 5 libraries, then it should be doable within a week or 2. Oh, 1 second! Holy crap! Oh, if I didn't miss that Robin Hood strike shot, or you know, I just didn't strike shot Destroyer either, I would have got it. But 200 medals is not that big of a deal, in my opinion, for me right now. And let's see that Gigamantis droppage. I don't think this is all from this session. So right now I have 25, and let's start fusing. 35. And then 45. And 40, 53. So I'm halfway there. So I need 46 more. Halfway there. And you know, just play regularly and you'll be fine. And for people who saw a little bit, I did have 2 Arcadias. Well, not Arcadia. I did get Arcadia. For people who don't follow Facebook or my Twitter and just watch my videos, I did get I got 2 Arcadias, and I am using him in a future video very soon, coming up very soon. So hopefully you'll like that. But that's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.